Hello, loves. Okay, I'm so excited to do the reading for this full moon in Gemini. I actually just bounced out of bed and was thinking about, oh, I have to do this reading, I have to do that reading, I have to do this reading first, I have to take care of those things, and then I'll get to the video. But I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk about this that I was kind of like, who cares what order everything is going to be in anyway. I'm going to get it all done today anyway. So let's just start into the video. So first off, understand that right now there's a really big energy that is having us very scattered in the sense that we're thinking about this, we're thinking about that, we want to do this, we want to do this, we want to do that. There's also lots of excitement, and with that excitement, this is leading us into next year when all of us are going to have really big 180-degree turns in our life, because next year the energies are all kind of making it where we will not be able to move forward unless we handle these things that we haven't been wanting to look at, unless we handle these shadow self issues that we haven't been wanting to face, unless we stand up and get as brave as we can be and demand that we're good at something and we want to do that as our career, unless we stand up and say, this partnership does not feel honoring, this partnership does not make me happy, we have outgrown each other, we need to be mature and talk about this and go our separate ways. So everything next year is really going to be pushing us to purge anything and everything that does not feel 80% and above as awesome. So if it's kind of 50-50, that stuff's going to fall away. You know, you want to leave a little area. Not everything is going to feel 100%, because all things that sometimes don't feel good have these amazing benefits that come as you move through time and with trusting the path, and that there's a reason you're heading towards things. So often, you know, what I mean by that is, I know I'm supposed to do this, I know I'm supposed to do this, and then maybe none of the signs are showing you that you should, but in your gut, you know, you're being told, this is my thing, I need to follow this path. So a lot of times we are given testings like that, where it's like you know you're supposed to do something, even though nothing's really working out. And my whole career, you know, is a perfect example with that, how it took over a decade to manifest, even though I created it, you know, back in 99 and 2000 and had all the visions of how I wanted this to look. You know, every new moon wishes was all about manifesting my career, and nothing ever happened for all those years. So I also, another thing too, is every time I've moved to a place, because I'm someone who I love to take risks with just moving to a new place where I don't know anybody, where I don't have a car, where I've only got $100, where, you know, I take a lot of big risks like that most people would never do, because they would need more stability. But me, I'm like, but my gut tells me I should do it, but my intuition says I should do this. But every one that I have done, I'm extremely tested in the beginning part of it, where nothing's working out and now I'm out of money and I'm freaking out, and you know, nothing works out. So I also know that there's a part of that path with trusting yourself enough to know that yes, you're supposed to do this, but not expecting instant gratification. You know, knowing that, you know, climbing that mountain and knowing that, yeah, there's things you're going to be tested on when you do decide to climb this mountain, but it's not like just because you chose it and did it, that instantly you have the rewards of what you know are going to be coming. So that's something I always tell people, and it's just something more to tune into your body, because with me, every time I was told to move, I was told to shift, I was told to make these changes, it was in my body as like, you know, the same way that I can say it's really bright and white outside, which I'm kind of white right now, huh? But the same way as I know that's the truth. In my body, I know it's daytime. This is not night. You can't convince me that this is night. So it's the kind of the same thing where you're like, I know I'm supposed to move to this place. And maybe everybody is questioning you. Everybody is putting their fears on you. But if your body's saying it, you need to do it. And that's going to be another flavor of 2015 where we're going to be so tuned into our body that you're going to see people making really huge risks and really taking big chances and really doing things that maybe you don't expect them to do, or maybe you could never do. But we really just need to honor and respect everybody as being sovereign human beings and having this fully developed intuitional system that will guide you through situations, that will guide you through relationships, that will guide you through life in telling you, no, this is not good for you. Yes, this is good for you. And our jobs are really just to sit back and not judge that so much in others. You know, just kind of being more supportive. And, you know, that's something too with, I'm going to be all over the place because this is a Gemini full moon. So just buckle up and, and keep with it. But so, I shouldn't have done that. What was I talking about? I was like, I have to warn you first that I'm all over the place. I think I'll come back to it. It'll come back because it was a big thing. Another thing is your voice right now. Your throat, you might be having physical signs of pain, feeling like something's coming on. Things are changing in our voice. You'll be clearing your voice a lot. You'll be clearing your throat a lot over the next several days. A lot of blockages that we have had in being able to speak our truth, in being able to speak what happened, in being able to speak what we're feeling is breaking down. And I can even see this as like, you know, like a drain cleaner where it's going in and it's getting rid of all this muck that's built up over the years in regards to our wounds and in regards to programming that has been put into us through things like you're not allowed to say that or you can't talk about that. And what it's done is it's really held us back in a lot of ways and actually manifested other wounds that relate to things where we wish we would have said something, or we wish we would have stood up for ourselves, or we wish we would have said no. You know, even I know that training thing that you can do, that self-defense where you have to say no. It's really hard for people to use their voices when they're in danger. It's really hard for people to use their voice when somebody is using power over them. Sexual abuse kind of situations where you're just shut down and you can't speak and you go numb. And a lot of people go deer in the headlights when dangerous situations are occurring in their life or violating situations are occurring. So all of that is coming out of our throat and it's breaking it up. And in breaking it up, people are going to be having lots of memories from their past. Huge. And this started about a week or so ago. And even, you know, further, it really has been a rippling effect so that we don't get such a huge pounding of it and then we're in bed and can't deal and are crying for weeks. So understand that we get layers and layers revealed to us about what we need to look back at that has actually harmed us now in the future, or in our lives now and in the future, or is holding us back, or you know, something like that. So we are being given glimpses of things from our past that have made us close our mouth, that have made us stay small, that have made us not speak up, that have kept us from believing we can do what we're here to do, that have kept us believing in our dreams. So our voices are going to be becoming really strong, and I've noticed it in myself. I think you'll notice it too even in this video. Over the last several days I kept like going over what I wanted to talk about in these, you know, when I was out hiking, and I'm like, gosh, listen to my voice. It's just so like bam, 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 you know. So it's clearing, and I've also been clearing my throat all day today. Well, I've only been up for an hour, but all day has been going on. I'm also always very overly dramatic about things, so that's why it's all day. So you can expect the same, clearing your throat a lot, you know, really kind of releasing things. And with every time you do this, more memories are coming to you. So be open to that. And, you know, I had this, you know, one of the things about us being human and being on this shift of consciousness is that especially people born in like 80s and beyond, or 80s and younger, or 80s and older. So like 80s and to 90s and beyond, not so much, but 80s to 70s, 60s, 50, 40. We came from people who did not have the consciousness yet in them. So there was lots of thoughts about how you're not going to remember this, so I can do whatever. You're not going to remember this, so I can say whatever. Lots of like having power and control over people. And really just doing a whole slew load of ass backwards things to us. So we're all really wounded. So even that I'm talking about this now makes sense that now I have to clear because it's kind of huge. But so we're all really wounded, and we have to honor and respect that. We can sit in our mind and say, no, 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 that did not bother me, that I did not have a father influence. I'm fine. You know, we can say, oh, no, no, I'm over that. It's no big deal. We can say these things in our mind, but what our body is really saying is a whole different story. You know, so think through the ego, we'll say, no, I'm over that. I've healed that. But over time, our body shows different things, and that's when we tend to manifest disease, our cancer, or all these kind of things that we've kept buried in us. And the mind is always going to fool us. It's always going to say, no, 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 I'm over that. I'm fine. And our thoughts are really looping back into situations right now where we were wounded, where we were really hurt, where we were violated, where we were let down, where we were rejected, where we didn't get nurturing, where we were about abusive talk, where we were being put down. And it's all kind of coming back to us right now. And what we're doing is we're recognizing that our minds have been looping through these same scenarios. And we may be manifesting them again in our life. Or our minds just go back to them and we have a lot of anger with, who the fuck do you think you are? Or how dare you fucking talk to me like that? Or how dare you fucking treat me like that? So we are being given glimpses of those things right now that our minds we're not done with. You know, we're still hurt by that. And if you're hurt by that, you are not going to be able to branch off into the areas of manifestation that you're dreaming of exploring in your life. So areas of your life will not manifest the way you want, whether it's having a baby, whether it's getting married, whether it's your career, whether it's your home. Something is like the roots were cut and damaged, so you can't fully grow into this space that you're wanting to move into. So in the past week and beyond, and we're going to have a really big push on January 1st to purge these, to barf these out of our bodies for good. And right now we're just seeing them, we're seeing them, we're seeing them. And what I do want you to know is that a lot of times with facing our shadow things and our woundings and things that have changed who we are at the deeds of other human beings who were not conscious yet, that what we're doing is we're cutting ourselves off from these beautiful blessings of a life that we should have, but we just aren't really seeing it as important. We kind of just try to like buck up, get over it. You know how often people just tell you, you need to get over it. And it's showing up as this really big density, and we're carrying this density into situations in life, so we can't really reach for our potential. We can't really manifest up into what we're so dreaming to do. So we're seeing that hardcore right now. And oh, I remember. What you need to do is realize that you don't need to have the solution right now. And I think that that's what holds people back in wanting to do the healing work, because you're like, I don't know how to fix this. And I wanted to share my example because it's something that destroyed me. And it's something that even now, everybody who knows me from before this happened does not recognize me. I'm not the same person I used to be. I used to be so beautiful, and I used to be so light, and I used to be so trusting, and I used to be so open to everything. It was yes, 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 yes. And this thing happened when I was 28. And through somebody that was supposed to be somebody that I could trust for life. And my past, basically, and my dad already hears what I'm saying, and he hates to hear this, but the male influences in my life, I've yet to have somebody that I can count on, as every male influence has either rejected me or sexually abused me. So I still don't have that thing of like a man being there and that I can trust. And I did have one for a big period of my life until this person did this thing, and it destroyed me. It completely fragmented the truth and the innocence of who I really am, because it was someone who was supposed to, you know, be there for me and support me and be this father figure to me. And it was not my dad, just so you know. My dad is someone who rejects me, which he hates to hear, because he didn't see it as rejecting. But when you don't have your father until 28, it's rejection, you know. But so anyway, so this thing happened, and with me and a lot of Pisces, it's kind of a water sign thing, not Scorpio, but Pisces and Cancer, they can really forgive easily if you come to them with an open heart and like you see the error of your ways, you know. So for me, it's really easy for me to forgive people. Like I've always said, I can forgive anything anybody's done to me if they want to be forgiven. If they want to bury it and keep it hidden and take a rotten, nasty, moldy cupcake and put sprinkles on it to be like, no, everything's okay, right? Then it's harder for me to forgive them. But if they come with an open heart, I can forgive them. So it's really easy for me to forgive, and I did forgive this person. And I actually, like the last time I got to see him before he died was I gave him a hug and I told him I loved him, and his whole body just went shoo. I mean, you could feel he was tense as we were hugging, and when I said that to him as we were hugging, his whole body just went shoo. Like the whole thing just like swooped down. It was so beautiful because I could see how he had awoken to what he had done was disgusting and horrible, and it fucked me up. I mean, it fucked me up. I'm still to this day, you know, even though I've had all this Rosen method, I've had all this shamanic work, I've had so much work to heal this, but it still is something that changed me forever. And so anyway, then so I forgave him, and then another thing happened where he could have sugar-coated it in a way. He could have done this thing that would have sugar-coated things and really kind of kept the details out of the book I'm going to write about it. But he didn't, and instead he did this other thing that was really kind of, in my eyes, really hurtful. And I feel like it was manipulated through somebody else. I feel like it was a manipulated situation, but it made me so fucking angry. And one of the things that I found out about when we die is that there's this thing that happens where if you've done totally horrible, hurtful things in life, you stay in this limbo state only because you can't forgive yourself. Because when you die, the full consciousness of everything that's happened to you is in you and in your mind. And if you can't forgive yourself, then you stay in this kind of limbo state until you can. And it has nothing to do with forgiving them, the person you hurt. It has to do with you. So, and somebody who had hurt me in my past, actually came to me and explained that to me and totally made peace with it. And it was really great because he could finally go on, you know, after like 30 years of being in this limbo state. So I already was told that, you know, this is what happens. So with this guy, the one who hurt me when I was 28 and around that area, last week, I was so pissed about it, and I was just like, I hope you fucking stay in this limbo thing. I do not want to forgive you. I am not forgiving you for what you did. How could you do that? Look at what you did to me. Look at how you fucked me up. I can't trust now. I push people away now. I can't, it just really changed the open, and you can see I'm like about to cry. It's still like, it's horrible. And wait a minute. So anyway, I was so angry, and I was so mad, and I was going through this whole process, and I want you to stay there for a while, and really kind of, and I was also like, how do we get over this? How do we get over these things that were so damaging? Like a husband whose wife and baby and belly were killed. How do you get over forgiving someone who did this or whatever? So it really had me thinking about how we all have a lot of things that we feel are insurmountable, and how can we forgive? But at the same time, we have to forgive. Like what I'm showing you now about what I'm going through, I can't move forward holding this position. This is not healthy. I will not be allowed to move forward in areas of my life until I can forgive, until I can let this go, until I can just rise above it in whatever ways possible. What happened though is, and this is what I tell you with, a lot of times you question, how do I heal this though? This ruined me. This, we're all fragmented. We become fragmented when these things happen, and then we can put our pieces back together with gold, but they still, like, the circuits don't run the same way. So we basically have to adapt as these changed beings and move forward in that way. But how do we do that, is what you question. And what I did notice is that after I had this, couple days of just so mad and just really like, how dare you do that? How dare you? And I'm not going to get into the details, but it's like something that I've had the hardest time getting my mind around. Like, how could you do that? All of it, all the pieces that happened, how could you do that? And it was also something too where I couldn't use my voice. So I'm having the lessons of, like, I couldn't say anything because it was so scary and it was so wrong that my brain couldn't even accept what was happening. But anyway, so after I really felt that and really was like, how do I get over this? How do I forgive this? Things started happening in my dreams. Things started coming to me. Messages started coming to me. My guides started coming to me. People who've crossed over. My father came to me. So even the person who did this came to me. All these people kind of started coming and sharing things with me. And then I just kind of stopped holding that position of, I want you to stay in the limbo state. I want you to suffer. I am not going to forgive you. I do not want to forgive you. And now, it's been like a week or so since it really started. And now I'm kind of, I'm not holding that really strong position of, I want you to suffer and I'm not going to forgive you. I more just came to the position of, you know what, I couldn't control any of the moves of that human being, but I need to focus on my own healing, and I'm not going to damage my life through magnetizing a disease or something, through this resentment that I can't let go of, and through this forgiveness thing that I can't do, when the whole purpose of life is to love and to forgive. So that's what the birds always tell me when I'm out. Like, that's what life is all about. Earth is about forgiveness and love. And I get that from the birds, which I think is so cute. But so we have to understand that we are given these experiences in life to learn how to forgive, to learn how to love, to learn how to rise above situations. And we each uniquely manifest these other characters in life who have to learn the other side of what's going on. They have to learn their own lessons through doing the violations, they have to forgive themselves for what they've done. So it's really like there's this play that's being reenacted in the human life experience, and we don't really understand why we have to have these things happen, but the whole point is that we have to learn to forgive, and we have to learn to let it go, and we have to learn to love the people who have hurt us the most. And that's what all of 2015 is really going to be about. That's going to be the big focus of 2015. And it's starting now. So we're getting the light shined on these layers of wounds that we need to let go of. And it's showing up in your mind. So know that I know I've already pushed, awareness buttons in people right now of like, oh, I've been thinking about that right now. And it deals with healing, and it's showing up in your mind. So just do pay attention to what you're thinking about right now, and understand that even though you may be saying, I'm over it, your body may be saying something else. Maybe you are over it, maybe you have healed, but if your body's speaking something else, or if it's something that you keep saying, or if you keep repeating, or if it keeps coming up, or if you, especially like with me, how you see when I can still come to tears, I'm still hurt. That little part of me is still hurt. I'm still mad that I had my life cheated by this violation that changed who I am. I'm still mad that I don't have that old part of who I was. I'm still mad that I'm not as open and open and loving and trusting as I used to be, and that I'm more reserved and cautious. And I used to be so social, I used to be so out there and hey all the time, and now I'm like, I just want to be alone, I don't want to da. So it changed me, in really huge ways. So we're all facing that stuff right now. So delve fully into that. You're going to get many more opportunities in this next year, but right now you're really seeing it, and really seeing a new path that you need to take in regards to bringing in the healing, in regards to putting it out there to manifest some kind of healing modality that can help you with this, something that can kind of help you release this, something that can help you forgive what you have had to see, or what has been done to you, or what you have experienced, and so that your branches can start growing again into these other areas, because your roots were cut, and you can try to stick those roots together even though they've been cut, like a worm. You can cut that worm and both ends are moving, but you can't stick them together and have them be working again. So we have to figure out how to heal what was cut off of us, what was taken away from us, what we had to experience that just rocked our world and changed who we are, or changed our outlook on life, or changed how we look at things in life. So that's where you're at right now. Another side of this energy, because it's actually really beautiful, you should have a lot of excitement, especially after you go through the really mad, why did I have to experience this? Why did this happen to me? Why did I have parents like this? Why did I have to go through that miscarriage? Why did I have to, lose my baby? Why did I have to, whatever's coming up to you, because there's so much going on with us right now. And it's all wound related. So once you kind of get over the anger and whatever comes out, then we move into a much lighter energy with this, with what's going on right now, and wanting to expand, and wanting to grow, and wanting to talk about it. Because the big thing with our throats clearing is that we're putting words to our wounds. We're putting words to what we experienced. We're putting words to our shadow things, and really speaking them, and really bringing them to the surface, and really bringing it out, and really talking about it. Even with my situation, nobody talked about it in my family. Not one person consoled me. Not one person offered any kind of, there was zipped lips. It was like the elephant in the living room, and everybody knew about it. Everybody knew what happened. A lot of people didn't want to believe it. A lot of people didn't trust me. A lot of people, that thing with rape, how people think, oh, well, you brought it on, or, oh, well, you da-da-da-da-da. It was basically being victimized further from something that was very damaging. But nobody talked about it. It was never talked about. And because of that, that fucked me up, and even I don't have a close relationship with anybody in my family anymore. So this thing that happened even changed how I am with my family, but a lot of it is because we couldn't talk about it. It wasn't talked about. It was like that rotten cupcake with sprinkles on it. You know, it's when someone I'm really close to in my family who I adore, but she's like, but look what a powerful person you've become. You know, it's like that's always how she responds to it. And that to me is taking a rotten cupcake and putting sprinkles on it, you know, and it's, I get kind of pissed off every time I hear it even, because it's like, oh my gosh, you know, fuck that it made me powerful. Let's fucking talk about what fucking happened, you know? So, whew, understand that you're going to be in the same thing. You need to talk about it. You need to get with people who can hear you. You need to get it out of your body. You need all that clogged up pipe shit in your throat where you couldn't speak, where you couldn't say no, where you couldn't say stop, where you couldn't say you can't do this, you know, where you couldn't say, how dare you talk to me like that? How dare you treat me like that? You know, or whatever. It's coming up. And it needs to come out. So we need to find areas. Like, look at me. I'm going to do it right in public eye. Guess what? That's my favorite thing, though. That's why I'm like, you better watch if you hurt me, because I'll be on here telling everybody. I'm going to tell on you. So another side of this is, there's a beautiful, expansive, open heart wanting to do whatever it takes to heal this stuff, wanting to do whatever it takes to make the changes that will bring you to a much more beautiful and satisfying place in life, wanting to make the changes with your home, wanting to make the changes with relationships, wanting to make the changes with your career, wanting to really make the space to be able to then manifest our dreams in that new open expanded space. And for many of us it comes from the wounds. Our wounds have been taking up too much space in our body, you know, our wounds, our pain, our betrayal, all the things that have let us down, all the things that we didn't get, all of the lack has taken up all this space and like poisoned it. So we can't, our heart space can't grow into those spaces. So right now we're doing this work of like cleaning everything up, getting rid of it, putting love into it, putting forgiveness into it. So that then our mind spaces are saying, and I want to create this now, and I want to move here now, and I want to work for myself now, and I want to be self-employed, and I want to do the life of my dreams, and I want to make a difference. So we're very much like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. So that's the scattered energy that has us like all over the place, but really just, you know, play with all of them. You don't need to do them right away, because another really big message in the world now is slow down. There's this inner need to want to do it all. I want to do this, I want to be that, I want to do this, I want to create that, I want to do that. And we're getting lots of roadblocks that are saying, slow down, it's not the right timing. You can just sit and play with this seed right now. You know, it's not such a bad thing to just have the seed. You don't have to race out and do everything before it's time, to where then it's not as good as it could be. So it's really about just like sitting with things and slowing down and, you know, really kind of letting things grow in their own timing. The slow down is huge in the world, where we're being like, I just saw like, what's that word? I saw like we're being, this trickling down of all this fairy dust that's slowing us down and making us sleepy or something. And not so much sleepy, but just it's saturating the earth in like, slow down. There's no need to race to things. There's no need to do it all right now. There's no finish line that you need to keep racing towards, because when you get into that habit of the racing, you then have to keep racing to another thing. So you're never satisfied, and then you find like life isn't valuable, I'm not happy. And then what happens is then you get into the future and you look back and you say, oh my gosh, why didn't I relax more? Why didn't I hang out with friends more? Why didn't I nurture relationships with friends more? Why didn't I, you know, just mellow out and lay in the hammock? And what's really funny too about the hammock is I don't really like, well, no, I'm not going to get into that. That's another huge tangent story. But anyway, I've read this thing that was like, my moon is all about laying in the hammock. So I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense, because I always use that line. Because I love to just lay in the hammock. I'm really like lazy in that sense, even though I'm so powered to go. I have a Capricorn rising. I'm accomplishing, I'm working, I'm da-da-da, but there's also a part of me that's totally content with just doing nothing with my Pisces and just, you know, just enjoying life. So because we've been racing to all these things, we're starting to look back and be like, gosh, I wish I would have nurtured that relationship more. I wish I would have worked on that partnership more. I wish I would have voiced the things I wish I would have said to that partnership to keep it okay. You know, that's part of the voice action too, where we're looking back and wishing we would have said how much we liked that person, wishing we would have been brave enough to go out on that limb and say, I like you, you know? So there's an array. It's like a whole photo album for us of I wish I would have with that person, I wish I would have with that person. But all of it is really working to get us to change now, and from this point forward, of using our voices, of speaking our needs, of asking for what we want, of saying no, I don't want to do that, and being okay with it, saying no, it's not okay that you did this to me, and really kind of speaking these words that we've needed to share with people. And when we do, we clear a little bit of that land that has been tainted by all the times that we did not honor our voice and did not have the strength or courage to speak up. And with each piece of land that we clear out, we make room for our life to expand into. And we make room to have more things happen with our career. We make room to have things more happen with a partnership. We make room to have more friends come into our life. So the work we're doing now is really important, and like I said, it's going to continue on fully into the next year. Like this time next year is profound, and I want you to think about that right now. Just even think about a year from now, because you're not going to be the same person, and it's because we're feeling such a huge push to purge, and such a huge push to let go of, and such a huge push to transform into what we know is truly our potential. So our hearts are fully in that right now, and knowing that we want to, and you know, with that too, just kind of make the list. You know, you don't have to do it all today. You don't have to have things manifest. I was talking to someone today about that, or we were sending messages, but I was like, yeah, she was talking about this space that she's holding now for, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, and I was like, you know what, I held that for 10 years, and it's still never manifested. But I think that a lot of times with that, we have to keep showing the universe that we are ready to use our creative gifts, and we have to show them that we're serious now. And sometimes it takes a little time. It's not like you think it and then next day your whole life is changed. It's more that you have to sit there and hold that space for a while and just know that, like, you know, I'm ready to be living this kind of life, and I'm really good at that. It's like we kind of like with, if you cook pinto beans, which I've been making them a lot, and they take days to get soft, you know. It's, you know, I can see why people go out and buy the cans, but you know, to cook beans takes a really long time. So you have to think about that too. You know, you're just stewing your dreams, and you just have to like sit with them and hold them and believe in them. And a lot of times, you know, it takes a little while, but that's not anything that you regret in the future. Because when they are manifested, you know, you're like, oh my gosh, it was all worth the wait. It was all worth the energy and effort that you put into it. Same thing in relationships. I get that a lot. I don't get it as much. It's really cool. Like readings, I rarely get people asking about love anymore. It's all soul's purpose. So that's a big shift happening in the world. We're more trusting that I'll meet the person when the time is right, and I don't want to compromise. I don't want to be with someone who's not right and then get addicted to them and then have this messed up thing that I have to get over later in life. So we're much calmer about waiting for that true love to come, and really waiting for something that is an 80 to 100% match. So, you know, with that one too, like, just know it's going to come. You know, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to feel like you're in lack because you don't have love right now. Because you have no idea what is 2 weeks away, what is 1 month away, what is a year from now. You have no idea. You know, if you've been trying to have a baby and then it's not working, it's not working. I've been hearing that a lot from people, which is wild because the babies so want to come in right now. And they're even coming in with like twins and stuff because they want to help heal this planet with their energy. So it's unusual that I'm hearing a lot of people who can't get pregnant, but I'm just saying it's not the right timing, or you're not with the right partner, but most likely it's just a timing thing where first you have to do this other thing to make space for the baby, and then who knows if like 1 year from now you already have a couple-month-old baby, you know? So just hold tight with everything. There's no need to think that you're missing out. And a lot of those things too in life just really need to be put on the back burner, because it's healing your wounds, healing the things that have really hurt you that you haven't been able to really acknowledge and face is a #1 concern. Because until, like I said, you clear out that tainted land, you can't expand into it anyway. You're blocked. So we have to do the work, and we have to heal, and we have to just put it out there that we want to. And, you know, like I said, even if you need to get really mad and, you know, fuck you, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That shifts the energy. That brings a solution. Just kind of go with that. Because with me too, when I was doing that, I knew this is not healthy. This is not how you're supposed to be. But I didn't know what else to do. And all I could really do was feel the pent up, build up pain of having to shove something down and play like everything's fine because it wasn't talked about. And then it just came out like, rah, you know. So, and then I was like, okay, I'm kind of like over that resentment. I can kind of move on. My life is beautiful, you know, and all this stuff. So just be open to that. Let me look at the chart quickly and see if any other symbols are wanting to speak to me. It's so exciting too. I really love this full moon chart. This makes me really, really happy. There's just activations. I feel like I've said everything though. But huge, huge activations to pull this stuff out of our past so that we really can create a new beginning and start over right now. And right now is like the true activation of what we're really going to purge on January 4th, but also what's happening now and what's coming to you now is what's really leading us into this new space in 2015. So it's all very exciting. So don't be afraid to use your voice. Don't be afraid to speak from your heart. Don't be afraid to also realize that you are important and you do deserve to live a life of joy outside of what other people have done to you who are coming from a more unconscious state. So it's time to really kind of like stand up with that and really kind of recognize that you are important. And we deserve to be happy, and there is a way to be happy, but we have to now clear out that tainted land by facing it and opening to a healing coming and opening to whatever it will take showing up in our life to show us the way how to clear this and really heal from it for once and for all. Okay, I'm going to go get to work now, and I'm going to work on the written horoscopes. I'm just going to do the horoscopes for the signs. I'm not going to do my beginning part. I decided to call that the video this time because I'm doubling up all the time and I am so busy. This last week I got more business. I got the business that I usually get in like 4 months in 1 week. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how we're going to make this work. I'm like, I need more me's. I need more of me. But I feel so grateful and blessed for that anyway. So thank you everybody for supporting me. It's so cool. It's like the best thing ever. That's where I say I look around, even though I went through something that I feel is the worst thing that can happen to people. Well, there's so many worse. But it's one of those top ones. But I still say I have so much though, you know, I'm so blessed, and I have to kind of focus on those things to kind of shift out of the damage of what was done, and it's through y'all's support too that helps me heal. So thank you very much. And you have a beautiful full moon, and I will have the written horoscopes. I'm going to have the link down below, but until the article shows up, it's not there yet, so don't worry. People are always like, where's the article? I'm like, I'm not done yet. So I'm going to try to get it half done today, half done tomorrow. So by tomorrow it'll be, you can get into the link. Until then, you can read the last horoscope or something. But okay, I'm gonna go. You have a beautiful